God has always moved through generations, through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, carrying his promises like waves across time, touching families and shaping futures. This land represents more than just a location. It represents stories of salvation, healing, and hope. At Pearlside Church, we've seen generations encounter Jesus, marriages restored, children raised to walk in faith, and lives transformed by His grace.
How long have you been attending Pearlside?
18 years. Wait.
What is that, 8 years?
More than 10 years.
12 years now.
So I think more like 17.
For 5 years now?
21 years. 16.
Close enough. 16,
We'll say
17,
16, 17 years. 16 years.
I've been coming to Pearlside for a little over a year and a half. And the first time coming into this church, like this could be an environment that I want to be around.
Someone kept inviting me, and I was like, no. And the lady kept calling me every single week. And I was like, I don't know how to get this lady off my back. And finally I said, okay, I'm just gonna go one and done.
It was Easter. And for me, I was like, oh, I always go to church on Easter. And I invited him because we were dating at the time. And I remember him telling me, he goes, no, I don't go to church. And I was like, why not?
I live right up the road, and I kept passing Pearlside, and I was like, there's a church right there. Like, what is prohibiting me from going there? So I literally on a Sunday just walked right out of my house and said, I'm gonna go to church, and I'm gonna sit in here, and I'm gonna see what this is all about.
Finally I said, okay, one time I'm gonna just check it out, and I already knew that I wasn't gonna come back. The message was like speaking right to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, God, how do you know? How do you know? There's no way that you can know. And I was invited to join a small group. So I went to the small group, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I belong here. Like, I could see myself coming here.
Being accepted from where we've come from in our past, just being loved into God's kingdom. And I've been able to do that with the next generation, with my peers, with my family, my parents, my siblings.
My daughter, she tried to save me for years by coming up with special Bible verses. When I was in the hospital with a heart problem, she came up with the perfect words. That's when she gave me the salvation prayer. My daughter was saved through Pearlside. So in a way, I say it saved my life, but it definitely changed my life.
When we got saved, God had to do a lot in me personally and him. And even from when we first got married, I don't even think that would have happened if it were not for God.
We wouldn't have a family, probably.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even be married right now.
I can't imagine. We would not be here today if it weren't for the people who prayed us through it and pointed us back to God.
Pearlside just has been such a blessing. I feel like that's an understatement, but the relationships that I get to build, it's not even just a church building. It's not just Pearlside, the building. It's just the people.
The community that I found, my small group, the women that I was surrounded by, the prayers, just the love that I felt. And then my children, they saw the change in me. They saw the change. They began coming to church, and they're all now serving in this church as well. I knew that this is exactly where God had called me to be.
My continuous journey with the Lord and this church has been shining through in every different way, especially with my family, and it kind of just spread into my workplace, into my personal self.
I'm just grateful for how God's moved in my life and changed me.
He has taken me through my darkest moments when he led me here to this church that's been on the same street as where I live this whole time, and I just never step foot in it. And I'm so glad that I decided that day to come here walking from my house.
God has transformed me and changed the whole trajectory of not just myself, but my wife and my kids, and just the people around us.
We wouldn't be where we are if it were not for God and this church. That's really our family. It's really our family.
I'm thankful for this church that believes the Bible, teaches the Bible's word to empower us to be able to live in that freedom so that we can empower our children and the children after them.
I would never be able to write that same story that he has written for me. It's the blessing of God that you will want that for everyone else, for your whole household, for anyone that you know, because that's how good God is.
We have the opportunity to possess this land, not just for us, but for our children and their children after them. Your faith, your generosity, it won't just give us a building. It will establish legacies, it will plant roots, and it will echo through generations. Let's believe together for a future built on Christ, overflowing with His love, reaching every household to come.